There's a neighborhood in the West Valley that almost nobody relocating to Phoenix is talking about right now. And honestly, I think that's going to change because one thing smart buyers understand is this. Sometimes the best opportunities are in the places that we're overlooking. What is going on, everybody? I'm Chandler Anderson, a realtor here in the West Valley of Phoenix. And today we're talking about hidden opportunities that buyers should be paying attention to. Because while everyone crowds into the same highly publicized areas, there are still underrated communities offering strong value and future upside. When most people start looking at homes in the Phoenix area, they tend to focus on the same handful of cities. They hear about Scottsdale and they hear about Chandler and Gilbert. And while those are all great places to live, what many buyers don't realize is that some of the best opportunities in the West Valley are actually in areas that don't get nearly as much attention. In fact, some buyers completely overlook neighborhoods and cities that offer better value, newer homes, larger lots, and a growing list of amenities simply because they aren't familiar with them. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video. Because if you're relocating to Arizona, buying your first home, using a VA loan, or simply trying to maximize your budget, these are some areas in the West Valley that deserve a closer look. And the buyers who discover them often end up feeling like they found a hidden advantage. One of the biggest mistakes I see buyers make is relying on outdated information. They hear something about a city from a friend who visited 10 years ago, or they read an article that no longer reflects what's actually happening today. And because of that, they immediately cross entire cities off of their list. I hear things like, oh, there's nothing out there. It's too far away. There's no shopping. There's no growth. The reality is that many West Valley communities have changed dramatically over the past decade, and what existed 10 years ago is not what exists today. New schools have opened, new communities have been built, new shopping centers have arrived, new employers have moved in, and infrastructure continues to expand. The challenge is that public perception often lags behind reality. Many people are making decisions based on an old version of the West Valley instead of what's actually happening here right now. And that's why I always encourage buyers to physically visit areas before making assumptions. Spend a Saturday driving around, visit local restaurants, tour neighborhoods, walk the parks. You might be surprised by what you discover. So let's talk about some of the hidden gems that continue to fly under the radar. The one reason people are attracted to the West Valley is the variety that it offers. You can find established neighborhoods with mature landscaping and larger lots. You can find newer master plan communities with modern amenities. You can find golf course communities. You can find active adult communities. You can find family-oriented neighborhoods with parks and trails and community events. The West Valley isn't just one thing. It's a collection of different lifestyles. For example, some buyers want walkability and community events. Others want mountain views and hiking trails. Some want golf courses, and others want a newer home with a three-car garage and room for a pool. The great thing is that buyers have options, and often those options come at a price point that's more favorable than what you might find elsewhere in the valley. And that's why so many people relocating families are spending time looking west. They're discovering communities that weren't even there on the radar when they first started their home search. Let's talk about affordability because this is where many buyers become interested. When I say affordability, I don't mean necessarily talking about cheap homes. I'm talking about value. There's a difference. Value means getting more for your money. Maybe it's more square footage, and maybe it's a newer build. Maybe it's an extra bedroom. Maybe it's a larger backyard. Or maybe it's access to amenities that would cost significantly more elsewhere. For many buyers, especially first-time home buyers and military families using VA financing, maximizing value is incredibly important. Every dollar matters. And when buyers compare properties across different parts of the valley, they often discover that their budget stretches further in certain West Valley communities. And that doesn't automatically make those communities better. It just gives buyers more choices. And having options is powerful. Because instead of settling for a home that barely meets your needs, you may be able to find one that checks more boxes without dramatically increasing your budget. One of the things that excites many buyers about the West Valley is what's still being built. Growth isn't just about houses. Growth is about everything that supports daily life. New restaurants, new retail centers, new grocery stores, new healthcare facilities, new schools, new roads, new entertainment options. As communities grow, businesses the follow the rooftops. And that's exactly what we're seeing across many parts of the West Valley. Developers and businesses recognize that population growth is creating demand for additional services and amenities. So for homeowners, this can mean shorter drives, more convenience, and more things to do closer to home. It also means that that area that you buy in today may look very different 5 years from now. That's why I encourage buyers to think beyond the house itself. Look at the surrounding community. Look at future development plans. Look at where retail and infrastructure investments are occurring. Because you're not just buying a property, you're buying into a community and a lifestyle. And in many parts of the West Valley, that lifestyle continues to evolve in ways that are attracting more attention every year. So the question isn't whether the West Valley is growing. The question is which community fits your goals, your budget, and your lifestyle the best. And that's exactly what we're going to break down next. Now, obviously, every buyer is different, and some buyers prioritize nightlife, some prioritize schools, some prioritize commute, and some prioritize affordability. But many buyers relocating to Arizona are increasingly prioritizing space, and lifestyle and community feel and long-term value. And when West Valley communities create opportunities in these categories, the buyers who often do best long-term are the ones thinking beyond today. They pay attention to where growth is going and just not where it's already happened. And that mindset matters. Sometimes the smartest move isn't following the crowd. It's getting ahead of the growth it's getting ahead of where growth is going next. If you want my free relocation guide, DM me West Valley and I'll send you hidden communities to watch, growth areas, affordability breakdowns, and the places I think deserve the serious attention in 2026. SHANDELIN, your neighborhood realtor. Talk to you later.